Yeah, Drazen Petrovic was my nemesis. I could not stand this guy, but to this day, I respect him because I think he is the best shooter I've ever seen in my life.
What up, JP Nation? It's your boy JP. Today we are reacting to Nonstop Sports. How good was Drazen Petrovic actually? Rest in peace to Drazen Petrovic, one of the greatest European basketball players ever. One of the reasons the European movement in the NBA happened. Him and Divock and Marciulionis coming into the NBA in the early 90s, coming from Europe. And you see guys later on like Dirk Nowitzki and Luka Doncic, just to name a few, to come into the NBA from Europe. One of the greatest three-point shooters ever, very underrated. We haven't seen, a long NBA career due to his, unfortunately, time in passing. Reggie Miller cornered him as the greatest shooter he have ever saw. That came from Reggie Miller, a Hall of Famer. So that just tells you how great he was as a basketball player. But before we get into the reaction and video, make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP for more basketball content. Click the notification bell, you know when our next upload is. Make sure you like this video at the end on the road to 4K. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video.
One of the best European players ever. Some say that he's the best shooter to ever play. However, Drazen Petrovic is rarely mentioned in those conversations as he only played in 4 NBA seasons because he tragically passed away at the age of 28. The 6'6" shooting guard is one of the biggest what-ifs in basketball history. But at the same time, he's done enough that he will forever be considered a legend. Here is the Drazen Petrovic story.
Great class by the Nets.
At the age of 15. Drazen Petrovic was born in Croatia in 1964. He first picked up a basketball because of his older brother Alexander, who turned pro when Drazen was 10 and is currently the head coach of the Brazilian national team. The whole Petrovic family caught the basketball bug, but it was Drazen who was most infected by it. The orange ball became everything to Drazen, who vowed to turn pro like his older brother. Young Drazen would wake up and shoot jumpers before school, basically for every day of his life. Then he'd go to school, have practice with Šabenka, his hometown team, and then stay after practice to shoot some more. He would be in the gym from 7 to 8 each day as a youngster. And
that's crazy.
Incredible work ethic was
dedication
by Šabenka's head coaches,
dedication,
who promoted him to a senior squad at the age of 15. And even though he was the youngest, he showed tremendous leadership qualities, and his charisma, basketball intelligence, and work ethic rubbed off on his older teammates. In the 1982-83 season, when Drazen was 18, he was already the best player on the team, and probably the best player in the Yugoslavian
18 years
league,
old,
which was the best league in Europe at the time. Šabenka had the youngest team and with the smallest budget in the entire league, but they also had Drazen, and the others didn't. Against all odds, the 18-year-old Petrovic led Šabenka to the finals. On his prom night, while the rest of his high school was partying, Petrovic played a deciding game in the finals of the Yugoslavian League. With Šabenka down by 1 point with 2 seconds remaining, Petrovic was fouled. He calmly hit both free throws, won the state championship, and the legend about Drazen Petrovic was starting to form. The best player in Europe. After a year of mandatory service in the military, Petrovic signed with the biggest club in Croatia, Cibona. Cibona won every competition in his first year, including the league title, cup, and the EuroLeague title, beating Real Madrid in the finals, where Petrovic scored 36 points.
Wow.
Next season, Drazen got even better, and the team repeated as EuroLeague champions, this time against Žalgiris, who were led by future Hall of Fame.
Yo, Sabonis! I've been hearing stories about that Sabonis was like the Michael Jordan of Europe. Like, he was just an unbelievable player. We only saw just a little bit. He was out of his prime when he came to the NBA and everything, with the Portland Trailblazers. We've seen the playmaking ability that he had, and just, a little bit of the scoring ability. That Portland team was just dangerous. That Portland team was dangerous with Rasheed Wallace and Steve Smith, Damon Stoudemire. They had Scottie Pippen came into the fold. They had a really nice team, but yeah, I'm hearing stories. If you have any videos or links to send to me about Sabonis and his just dominance, in Europe, please send it to me. I'll hear stories. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and continue this video.
Arvydas Sabonis. In 1988, after averaging 25 points per game and winning 8 trophies with Cibona, Petrovic moves to Spain to play for Real Madrid, the richest European club. Drazen was tormenting Real in the EuroLeague for years, and they wanted to sign him at all costs. Petrovic signed the first $1 million contract in European basketball history.
Wow!
And it paid off for Real, even though he spent only 1 year in Spain's capital. Drazen won the Spanish Cup for Real, beating Barcelona in the finals and winning the finals MVP. Drazen's 42 points in the finals is a record that still stands. Petrovic also led the club to victory in the second-tier European Cup final against Caserta, scoring an unbelievable 62 points in the final. After averaging 29 points per game for Real, Petrovic was looking for new challenges. By the age of 24, he won on every level in Europe, and his crazy competitive drive signaled it was time to leave. He left money on the table and bought out part of his contract.
24 years old, he done everything in that European league. He was the best player. He done everything at only 24 years old. Wow. And he's just looking for new challenges. Hey, man. Shout out to Drazen, man. Shout out to Drazen. Rest in peace.
To join the Portland Trail Blazers, who picked him with the 60th overall pick in 1986. Starting from the bottom in the NBA. Petrovic's arrival to the United States in 1989 was similar to the scene of Eddie Murphy's arrival in the 1988 hit movie, Coming to America. Just like Prince Hakeem in the movie, he was royalty back home and was widely recognized as the best basketball player in Europe. But once he came to America, that all changed, and he had to fight even to become part of the rotation, let alone a starter or having a leading role on the team. Petrovic was one of the 4 European players who came to the NBA in 1989, which was the first time in league history that non-American players started playing in the NBA without prior college experience. The Europeans were considered as lesser players at the time, and people were skeptical when they got drafted, even though they dominated the EuroLeague for years. So when he came to Portland, Petrovic was deeply surprised that he got relegated from a superstar to the end of the bench. He played just 12 minutes on average on a Blazers team that got to the NBA Finals in 1990, even though he shot 46% from 3 as a rookie, the 3rd best percentage in the entire league. Trade to the Nets. As always, Drazen worked tirelessly in the offseason, mostly to improve his body. In Europe, basketball players never lifted weights in the 80s, which was Petrovic's only deficiency when he came to the States. In Portland, I played against Clyde Drexler in practice a lot. I couldn't handle it. I would score on him once or twice, and he'd give me 20. I wondered what I was doing here and if I made a mistake leaving Europe. And then I realized, without physical strength, you are nobody and nothing. Drexler and Petrovic became great friends, and Clyde was one of the first people to advise Petrovic to leave Portland once they added another shooting guard in Danny Ainge. If Rick Adelman and the Blazers realized sooner what kind of player they had, maybe they would have won a championship against Jordan and the Bulls in 1990. They didn't. Petrovic played even less in his second season and requested a trade after 18 games. He moved to New Jersey and immediately proved that he could compete with the Americans. In about 20 minutes of playing time, the Croatian guard averaged 12.6 points on 50% shooting and 37% from 3, but the best was yet to come. First, the European star in the NBA. In his first full season with the Nets, Petrovic blossomed. He bulked up, learned the NBA game, and his confidence could never waver anymore. He knew that he belonged and that he could drop 20 on anybody. Petro, as they called him, became a starter in the 1991-92 season, and his numbers skyrocketed. He led the team in scoring with 20.6 points per game on phenomenal 51% shooting and 44% from 3, the second best mark in the league. Drazen and Derek...
That was an underrated team in the East in the 90s, that Nets team. Petrovic, Derek Coleman, Mr. Chips himself, Kenny Anderson, with Chuck Daly as their coach. That East was really tough. They had a lot of good teams. They were a really underrated team. So I just want to give the Nets a shout out, and rest in peace to Chuck Daly too as well.
Coleman pushed New Jersey to their first playoff berth in 6 years. The Nets lost to Cleveland in the first round, but it was hardly Petrovic's fault. He again led the Nets in scoring with 24.3 points per game and 54% shooting from the field. After the season, Drazen led Croatia to their first Olympics as an independent country. The Croats had a good team with 3 future Hall of Famers in Dino Radja, Toni Kukoc, and Drazen. And it's no surprise they got to the finals against the Dream Team. Drazen's coach with the Nets, Chuck Daly, also coached the Dream Team. And here's what he said. Of all the world's players, Petro was the only one who wanted to go at us without holding back. He really fought. He was not afraid, and he wanted to beat us. All NBA season with the Nets and a tragic trip to Germany. After the silver medal at the Olympics, Petrovic had the best season of his career. He wasn't a novice anymore. He was the best player on his team, and his leadership skills began to show. Petro averaged 22.3 points that season, which was the 11th best scoring average in the entire league. He was also among the league leaders in efficiency, with 52% shooting from the floor, 45% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. As one of the NBA's top scorers, Petro was supposed to be the first European All-Star, but he was unfairly denied that opportunity. However, he was just too good to ignore and got selected to All-NBA third team. Only Jordan, Stockton, Dumars, and Mark Price got more votes than Petrovic. And let's mention that Drexler, Reggie Miller, and Mitch Richmond got left out, which tells you how hard it was to get selected. The Nets had another winning season, but they once again lost in the first round to the Cavaliers, this time in 5 games. After the NBA season, Drazen flew home to play in the European qualifiers with Croatia, which would, unfortunately, happen to be the last basketball games he ever played. Petrovic could have easily skipped those qualifiers because he had a long NBA season and Croatia had already secured seeding for the championship, but he wanted to play and lead by example. After he dropped 30 against Slovenia in the qualifying tournament in Germany, his teammates were boarding a plane to return home, but Drazen wasn't there. Petrovic didn't want to wait for the commercial flight and had decided to drive to Croatia with his girlfriend. Sadly, for his family, friends, and basketball fans worldwide, the Volkswagen Golf with Petrovic sleeping on a passenger seat had crashed into a truck on the German motorway, and Drazen Petrovic died on the spot at the age of 28. Legacy: Jordan's mentality, Kobe's work ethic, and Steph's shooting. He was asked about playing one-on-one with Jordan, who would win that game. Drazen Petrovic said without hesitation, it depends on who would have the ball first. If I had it first, I believe I would win. Now, I don't believe Drazen could actually beat Jordan one-on-one, but it was glaringly obvious that he believes it 100% and that he has the ultimate confidence in his shot and his ability. Jordan confirmed this as well. It was a thrill to play against Drazen. Every time we competed, he played aggressively. He wasn't nervous, and he came at me as hard as I came at him. Just like Jordan or Kobe, Drazen was a leader, a walking bucket, and a killer competitor. Each and every day in practice, he would be the first guy to come and the last guy to leave the gym. Nobody put more pressure on him or had higher expectations for him than Petrovic himself, who had a maniacal work ethic, very similar to Kobe Bryant. 6 or 7 in the morning, it doesn't matter. There's cleaning ladies and I. They would do their work, I would do mine and make 500 shots. I never missed a morning workout. Drazen. With 43.7 behind the arc, Petrovic is 4th on the NBA all-time list for three-point percentage, about 0.5% better than Steph Curry, who is currently in 6th place. And if you ask Reggie Miller, he'll say that Drazen Petrovic is the best shooter ever.
But to this day, I respect him because I think he is the best shooter I've ever seen in my life. Better than Ray Allen. The best shooter I've ever seen in my life.
When LeBron got asked who's the best European player ever, first he said Dirk, and then he corrected himself and said Petrovic. Whether you agree with LeBron and Reggie or not, Drazen Petrovic was without a doubt a top 5 or top 10 shooter who ever played, and top 5 European player ever. He paved the way for the Tony Parkers, Nowitzkis, and Ginobis of the world, who all had an easier path because of Drazen, who came to the NBA first and proved that European players could play. And when he could embarrass Hakeem Olajuwon like this, he was one of the best defensive players ever, and then sink a shot in his face, and it's easy to see why they call Drazen a basketball Mozart. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you for the video, Nonstop Sports. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know about Drazen Petrovic, and man, just thank you for the breakdown. Just thank you so much. Now, Drazen Petrovic, one of the top 10 European basketball players of all time, you know, just his legacy, I mean, that he done for Europe, and then coming into the NBA and just finding his way and being able to learn the NBA game and bulk up, you know, because, you know, you heard that, you know, the European players don't really lift weights at that time and everything. I don't know about now. He was on his way. Like, who knows what he could have had, and definitely much respect, you know, before getting into the All-NBA team that last year in the NBA. Like, that's just phenomenal. I just hate that he didn't make an All-Star, you know, because he was having a great season with the Nets. But All-Stars sometimes could be biased too about people they're going to put in and stuff, but you know, but that's great that he got that respect of an All-NBA team, because he was just phenomenal scoring the basketball and just being able, and they put it perfectly, you know, the Jordan mentality. He had that killer instinct, and then he had that work ethic like Kobe Bryant, and then, you know, he could shoot that basketball. Steph could shoot that basketball too as well. You know, we coined Steph Curry as the greatest shooter ever, just the unbeliever that he does off the dribble, catch and shoot. I mean, he just does it in different ways though, but who knows what Drazen would have been. You know, he could have been the greatest shooter ever, you know, and for him to be in that conversation with just a short NBA career as, you know, one of the greatest shooters ever, that just tells you that he was just a bad boy. He will go after it and will compete against it. He loves those challenges. He thrives on those challenges. And definitely much respect, man. Definitely. Rest in peace to Drazen Petrovic. Comment your thoughts down below on Drazen Petrovic, how good he would have become, or you probably could have saw him if, you know, what if, you know, he didn't tragically pass away? What could have been? Just comment down below on anything Drazen Petrovic, any stories, anything. Make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP for more basketball content. Click the notification bell. You know when my next upload is. Make sure you like this video at the end on the road to 4K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And make sure you comment down below too what you want me to react to next. I'm JP, and we out of here. Peace.